I'm not gonna be like everybody else and be like, don't come to Atlanta, we full. I'm not gonna be like that, because if you want to come on, boo boo kitty.
You don't even have to like me, but you will respect me. You know why? Cause I'm a boss.
Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Danny, and I'm finally back with another video. So today I'm going to do a story time. Y'all, I am about to tell y'all about how I moved to Atlanta with a car and about $150. Okay, so I grew up in California, and I was going to school there and everything. When I graduated high school, I really wanted to move to Atlanta initially. Like, I always wanted to come to Atlanta and like live my life. I wanted my life to be in Atlanta. However, I went ahead and went to Grambling, which is where I went to college, and that's pretty much where I spent 5 or 6 years of my life, in Grambling. So eventually I knew I wanted to come to Atlanta still. It was just put on hold because I had to go to school. So how I got to Atlanta was basically this. So that last year while I was in Louisiana, which was about October 2016, well, actually September 2016, I believe this is when everything went down. So I was roommates with a girl who was actually my twin brother's girlfriend, and we're gonna name her Susie. So me and Susie was roommates. Everything was cool. I was paying my rent. Everything was good. Everything was fine. So Susie and my brother got into a debacle or whatever, and y'all, she ended up throwing everything I owned outside in front of the apartment. After all of that happened, so after, somebody just pulled up to me, and that was like really just distracting, but it was cool. We didn't have no problems or whatever. And let me wait till they move. Anyway, so yeah. So I was living with Susie. I was looking for a roommate at the time, so it was perfect. She had a 2-bedroom. It was my brother's girlfriend, so I was like, awesome, cool. So one day, I don't know, her and my brother had got into like a debacle or whatever, and they were arguing, and shit hit the fan. Y'all, she literally took everything I owned, from hair products, clothes, shoes, food, cups, bowls, plates, rubber bands, shower curtain, like everything I owned. Pots, pans, blender, like every possible thing that she could find in the apartment that was mine. Perfume, lipstick, coconut oil, hair products. I mean, everything I owned, she took it and threw it in front of the apartment. And I pray that I can find clips, because I did save these videos. Keep in mind, I've been living in Atlanta for like 2 years, and this is the first time I'm telling this story, because it just hurts me to my heart, y'all. This is what brought me here. And yeah, so she had threw all of my stuff, everything that I own, worked hard for, outside on the curb. And I thought that was so disrespectful, because regardless if you into it with my brother or whatever, I still paid my rent for that month. Keep in mind, it was like the 5th. So I had just paid my rent. So I really was hurt, because all you had to do if you into it with my brother, call me, and I would have came and got my stuff. Like, I would have came and got my stuff. So she called my brother on the phone while we was at work, because me and him worked in the same place. She called my brother, and she was like, tell your sister all her stuff outside on the curb. And I was like, nah, bruh. Like, bruh. So I called my little cousin, Ebo Gotti, and I was like, Ebo, can you run past the crib or whatever and see if my stuff outside? So about 10 minutes later, Ebo called me, and she was like, she was like, yo, shit outside, like outside. So I had her FaceTime me, and lo and behold, my bed, even my bed, like she had broke down my bed and put my bed and mattress and everything outside. So after I got there, we was ready to like throw them bowls. Like, I wasn't ready to fight, because I wanted to handle it the legal way. But me and my homegirls, like Lindsay, Deborah, Mary Jane, my cousin Ebo, and Daniel, my twin brother Daniel, and our homeboy Steven, like, we all pulled up. So when we pulled up, she was in the process of pushing my big flat screen TV out the door. Soon as we pulled up, and she locked the door, and she closed the door, but my TV hadn't made it outside because, y'all, she would have threw my TV outside. So I called the police. And y'all know technically you have to evict somebody like the right way through the courts in order to get them out. So I called the police. The police roll up and they go inside. When I tell y'all, Susie pulled out a knife on the police like she was finna shank them. Y'all, she put out a knife on them and she was like going crazy. She was going ballistic. And before the police could pull up, my brother like banging on the door, trying to see what's tea, like get her to come outside, like what's good. And she didn't come out, you know, until the police had to escort her out of handcuffs. So I did get her arrested or whatever, because that's just how I had to go. Because you're not going to disrespect my stuff like that. So that was like September, or maybe the beginning of October. So at that point, me and all my friends, like, we picking up all my stuff off the ground. We salvaging what we can. And I end up taking, like, all my stuff that wasn't broken or whatever to our homeboy Steven house. So I leave that at Steven's house. I'm sleeping at my brother's house on the couch or whatever. And eventually I start thinking, like, okay, I'm done with school. Why am I really here? So my grandma was already living in Atlanta. So I'm like, okay, well, since I already got my grandma there, let me go ahead and move with my grandma, and, you know, I could start my life or whatever out there. So I texted my grandma, and of course she was like, come on. So I put in my 2 weeks notice at my job that I loved with all my friends, all my homies, and I started planning a going away party. And my going away party was on Halloween. Or it was on the 30th. So my going away party was like Halloween themed. All my friends came, and it was very emotional because although I always wanted to move to Atlanta, I had no idea that I would move the way I did. It was very short notice. Like, I moved to Atlanta in maybe 2 weeks, like 2 weeks tops. And I packed up my car, my little Nissan Sentra. I packed up my car with everything I could carry. And I knew I would be coming back because we had to come back for court and everything, because she was going to have to pay me because you ruined, like, all my stuff. Like, she ended up getting some felonies and everything because she ruined so much of my stuff. So I knew I was going to have to come back. So I just packed, like, my most important things. And I had my going away party. And I only had one check. And I think the check, I had a check coming, but for some reason that check didn't come, and I was like stressing out, and I was telling my friend Sharon, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I think my check ended up coming, but it was like really, really small. I think it was like $100 or $150, y'all. And I just got in my car, filled it up, and I was on my way. Like, that was it. Like, it was very, very, very sad that it had to come to that. Like, the girl did that to me. But now that I'm in Atlanta and I've been here for 2 years, and, you know, I've been going through certain things while being in Atlanta, but it was all for the positive because this is where I really want to be. So, yeah, I got on the road. I made it to Atlanta in like 8 hours, and I moved in with my grandmother. And I was very thankful. So I just feel like a car and $150, that was like my gas, my food, and anything else I would need. That's what I used it for. And I had my car. I feel like if you're gonna move to Atlanta, you don't have to be balling, but you have to make sure you have some help, like in Atlanta. I would have never made it out here in Atlanta or been able to sustain without my grandmother, because she's helped me so freaking much. And without her, it would have been really hard. So I definitely commend everybody who just up and come to Atlanta and already have an apartment and a job, because I didn't have a job, no job. All I had was a car and $100. No job. So when I got here, that's all I did. Like, I jumped on Indeed and I was like filling out app after app after app after app. And then Walmart called me. And I worked at Walmart for months until I could find a corporate job where I could be established. But I worked at Walmart for months, y'all. Like, months. So when you move to Atlanta, you cannot be scared to work mediocre jobs or work at Target or Walmart or whatever, wherever, until you can get on your feet. Because Atlanta is a place where you come and you can make it, but you got to work hard. You got to work hard, y'all, because if not, you won't make it. But at the end of the day, I'm happy that it all played out the way it did, as far as, like, we didn't physically beat her up. We didn't assault her. And you know how people say, beat your face, not people? Because that day, y'all, she was about to get her face beat in. And I'm just like, girl, like, she's 6 times bigger than me, but I really felt like I wanted to take off on her for what she did to my stuff, because I had nothing to do with the breakup or what her and my brother was going through. And in the end, she ended up apologizing and saying it was because of what she was going through with my brother. But I just felt like, girl, like, you did all that to me for what? You got felonies on your record and everything for what? So I just feel like that's what happened. That's how I got to Atlanta. And my going away party was bomb, y'all. It was like Halloween themed. All my people came out. My job like threw me a party. Everybody wrote post-it notes and index card notes for me, and they were on my desk. So it was like really touching, and that just showed me that like my heart is still in Louisiana. Like my dogs there, like all my rounds really in Atlanta. So in Louisiana. So yeah, that's how I came to Atlanta. And again, it's like, it was crazy, but that's just what it was. This is my first time telling that story since it happened in 2016. And just talking about it, I'm like, bruh. Like, I done been through some crazy, crazy stuff. But it's like, you only as strong as you allow yourself to be. God will never put too much on you that you can't bear. I'm telling you. Because at that point, I'm like, bruh, I'm finna kill this girl. I'm finna smash her. Like, but nobody was more upset than my brother, because it all happened behind him. Nobody was more upset than him, and he was very apologetic. Like, he kept apologizing on her behalf, which I understand. But at the end of the day, I'm like, bro, like, you didn't do it, she did. So the fact that I eventually got an apology from her, it was closure. But I just feel like, y'all just gotta watch y'all back when it comes to roommates and stuff, because they will do you dirty. But anyway, I moved here with a car, $150, no job, and I made it. It's been 2 years. I'm still here. I'm living. I'm prospering, and I'm just doing the damn thing. So I encourage everybody to please have support when you move to Atlanta. I'm not going to be like everybody else and be like, don't come to Atlanta, we full. I'm not going to be like that, because if you want to come on, boo-boo kitty. But just know it's a lot of work, and Atlanta is really expensive. Like, as far as an apartment and as far as like just getting established, it's expensive. Especially if you want to be in Midtown in a high-rise apartments with a bomb-ass view. Like, ooh, you finna be paying like $13, $14, $15, $2,000 a month. So you better get on the outskirts. But anyway, y'all, I just wanted to come and tell y'all that story real quick, because I was finally ready to talk about it, tell y'all my experience, what happened to me. If y'all want to know and hear more story times, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button and leave a comment down below and let me know what is your most craziest, wildest roommate story. Let's talk about it. But anyway, y'all, reporting live from the internet, signing out. Back to you, world. Deuces. Bye, guys.
Watch that thing go. I'm bossy.